China destroying mosques as U.S. senators urge Americans to stop funding Xinjiang.
Here's a summary of the article.
Whilst doing more should include sanctions against key Chinese officials, the politicians also demanded that U.S. companies stop collaborating with China's surveillance state machine and that U.S. financial institutions stop funding Chinese technology companies, including AI unicorns, whose systems power Xinjiang. Americans would likely be very troubled, if not outraged, the politicians pointed out, to learn that their retirement and other investment dollars are funding Chinese companies with links to the Chinese government's security apparatus and malevolent behavior links that represent material, asymmetric risks to corporate reputation and share value. The team reported on police checkpoints where Muslims are photographed before being sent on their way, on compulsory communications monitoring and citizen scoring, and on the discouragement of worship, where mosques are equipped with high-tech surveillance and kindergarten children are interrogated about the religious activities of their parents. To expand its entity list to include businesses and other entities that have provided technology, training, or equipment to Xinjiang officials in mass detentions and surveillance, including Chinese companies like Hikvision and Dahua Technology. This week, those 24 senators and 19 representatives asked whether American companies have sold technology to Chinese companies operating in Xinjiang or have worked with them to help develop the Sharp Eyes or Integrated Joint Operations Platform being used there for surveillance and big data predictive policing. And what specific steps are being taken by the U.S. government to prevent the Chinese government from using American-made goods and services to perpetrate grave human rights abuses in Xinjiang? The truth is that such links are extensive. On its website, Senstime references more than 700 customers and partners in China and overseas, including world-renowned institutions and companies such as the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Qualcomm, NVIDIA, Honda, Alibaba, Suning, China Mobile, UnionPay, Wanda, Huawei, Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo, Weibo. The California State Teachers Retirement System and the New York State Teachers Retirement System remain investors in Hikvision, despite the company having been sanctioned over Xinjiang.
This post received a score of 6,730, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
How does this boy work? It does its job so well.
This summary was better than what I can expect out of most undergrad students.
China is also doing this to other religions. They hate religion.
Yes, and also no. They hate unregulated religion, and they hate ethnic minorities with separatist leanings. Religion has been controlled by the government to varying degrees since 1949, but what's happening to Muslim Uyghurs isn't comparable to the communists' treatment of other religions, with the possible exception of Falun Gong, or even comparable to their treatment of Hui and other non-Uyghur Muslims. At this point, it's most likely a full-on genocide, which is a different thing from shutting down underground, unregulated churches.
The Chinese government doesn't like religion that is associated or controlled by another country or is linked to separatists. So they have an alternative version of Catholicism where they have control or a say in the appointment of bishops. They are uncomfortable with Islam because of its association with Uyghur nationalism and also international jihadism. They are uncomfortable with Tibetan Buddhism's association with Tibetan nationalism. They don't like religions that challenge the government, like Falun Dafa.
Don't they also have their own, separate and sanctioned Panchen, Lama who decides who the next incarnation is when the current Lama dies?
Yes, that will be a big thing when the Dalai Lama dies. I think they will discover two reincarnations, one that is pro-China and one that supports independence.
They can't. China disappeared the one that finds the Dalai Lama and basically created their own, so he will find a pro-China one for sure.
The Dalai Lama has already told his followers and the world that he will not be reincarnating after he dies in this life. How that plays out remains to be seen.
Simple, he's not gonna die.
This comment section is gonna be a fun ride.
It must be hard for Reddit to pick between hating China and religion. Looks pretty even-sided right now.
You can rightfully hate religion and still fully support the idea of religious freedom and expression.
Whoa there bud, don't you know on Reddit your opinion needs to be on an extreme with no nuance or moderation?
If a Western artist draws Muhammad, Muslims all over the world go crazy, but regarding what China does, none of them dares to say a word or suggest sanctions. Why?
Because they know they won't do shit against China. China will kill its own people en masse. Not a good target for foreign militants.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.